hopefully this week. So here we start again. Sorry about that, Rose. My project is based on the same question that I told you before on what occurs as a consequence of differences in socioeconomic status. So if you could repeat for us, what neighborhood do you live in?
I live in Cabbagetown, which is in between St. Jamestown and Regent Park.
What are some advantages or opportunities and some disadvantages that you see in the neighborhood that you reside in?
I suppose the main advantage of my neighborhood is that it's very family friendly. It's really meant for middle class families with quite young children. So a lot of the opportunities presented to me are ones with caregivers, babysitting. A lot of the kids in my school go to private education, and there's like kind of like a lot of options in terms of what I want to do with. It's like, you know, I can walk around at night, and be safe, not worry about that stuff. I don't have to lock the door to my house all the time. Disadvantages, say it's very closed off. There's a lot of class prejudice in my neighborhood. It can feel very restrictive in terms of what your interests are and how you choose to express yourself, what taste in music you have, and who you're friends with, and who you bring into the neighborhood. But, like, to be honest, I'd say that most of the advantages outweigh the benefits for the most part. Outweigh the disadvantages.
What are the things that the city of Toronto focuses in your neighborhood to improve living or community activities?
Pardon?
What are things that the city of Toronto focuses on in your neighborhood to improve living or community activities?
Well, right now they're gentrifying part of Regent Park as a goal to improve some of the area of my neighborhood. They think it'll make a big difference. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's wrong. But they also do things like put expensive stores and like overpriced shit nearby, just so it kind of drives out anyone who can't afford the stuff that's there, and kind of encourages this process of gentrification that's happening in kind of like the Parliament Wellesley area. Yeah. So.
Are there things that the city of Toronto has sort of put a blind eye on regarding some problems in your neighborhood? If so, which?
If I include like my general areas, my neighborhood, as opposed to just the houses I live around, I'd say for sure. City of Toronto doesn't want to face that when we lower taxes, it gives a lot less money to neighborhoods that really need it. And we need arts taxes, we need Kiwanis clubs, we need things that are going to get people off the streets and kind of into small community centers and doing stuff. It's kind of distressing to see how much, like, you know, tax cuts has really taken out of Regent Park.
Yeah.
It's gotten a lot better, but, like, it's still, like, not great. It's not enjoyable. And, like, especially with St. Jamestown, it's like most of my friends don't have, like, always working lighting or working heating in their flat, like, apartment blocks. And, like, that's shitty to see. And, like, some of them have problems with, like, insects. And, like, they have problems with, like, you know, not being able to go down the elevator at night because it's so sketchy. That's not nice to hear about.
Of course, of course.
So I suppose, like, the crime rates in the neighborhoods around me, it's kind of shit. And, like, in general, drug use.
What are some misunderstandings that you have encountered in the past, if any, based on the basic services you pay for?
I'd say there's kind of like an inability for the city to really follow through with the things they promise to people. That's kind of a big problem in my opinion. The idea that they all kind of like set up projects and start things for people, and then, you know, when they're kind of like, hey, there's an issue here, like we need help fixing this with this thing you've given us, the city just kind of turned a blind eye to all that. They don't really do anything further than that, like setting up community centers, like the Regent Park Community Center. They put so much work into it, you know, it's a beautiful community center, and then when they start having issues, you know, late at night and stuff, the city just kind of failed to notice and instead start taking down apartment blocks. Or like some of my friends got moved out of Regent Park in the process of gentrifying, and were told they'd move back within the next 2 years, and they've been out of Regent Park for 5 years with no chance of moving back now. And like, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow. How is the neighborhood vibe like around where you live?
Um, if I go south, if I go south, it's actually very multicultural. I like it. It's a lot of new immigrant families.
Yeah.
Um, which is kind of cool. You get a very strong feel of multiculturalism. There's so many languages around you, and like there's no sense in, at least kind of like, in a Regent Park, of being an outsider.
Mhm.
But we're closer to where I live, which is like Cabbagetown. It's definitely different. You can feel like an outsider very fast. They put out regulations so St. Jamestown kids couldn't play in our streets.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
sad.
I don't like how inclusive my neighborhood is.
Mhm. What are some activities that the people in your neighborhood engage in to come together as a community? Doesn't necessarily have to be legal activities.
Okay. For like the teenagers.
Like anybody in general.
Teenagers, we set off fireworks a lot. We go to shale pits and we set off fireworks.
Mhm.
Um, but we also have stuff like, we have like broad like family stuff. Like we have the Cabbagetown Festival.
Yeah.
Some of my friends used to break into Riverdale Farm. And such there.
The jokes.
But like, I don't know. Kind of like a variation of kind of like very family grown stuff, and then kind of, not so nice stuff.
Yeah.
We used to break into the St. Jamestown Necropolis, which is like the cemetery.
Mhm.
And there's a pit down by the ravine, and we used to go there and just kind of chill. I don't know, it's kind of variety. If I'm hanging out with my friends from St. Jamestown, it feels like there's a lot more to do, just because it's like a way, even though it's like a smaller area, it's like the density and population is so much like bigger, because like they're all in apartment blocks, so it's like you go up 2 floors and there's like another 10 kids there, and you're like, all right, let's do something. But the activities I do with them are like, I don't know, we more chill.
Mhm.
They like setting off fireworks too. Set off fireworks on the top of their apartment blocks, which is sick.
That's sick. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It kind of varies. It varies who I'm hanging out with.
What are some problems that you face because of the neighborhood that you reside in?
Our local schools are bad.
Mhm.
A lot of problems with like just like trying to find a school that kind of fits.
Yeah.
In terms of like, a lot of the high schools aren't are really bad.
Yeah.
Like Jarvis, no one wants to go there, and the only other option is Catholic school board. And to be honest, it's not too great either.
Yeah.
There's also like, they've shut down all the kind of things that get youth off the street. Like there used to be the Cabbagetown Arts Center, and I used to help teach music there, and they shut that down. Or like these, like, I don't know, it doesn't get the same amount of funding that it does anymore.
Yeah.
That's kind of shit. I don't know, but now we've got the pool, which is cool, like the Regent Park Aquatic Center.
Yeah, I see.
That's sweet. So there's that. I don't know.
Is drug use prevalent around your community? What are some examples of drug use in your neighborhood?
In Cabbagetown, kids will like do like, I don't want to say fancy drugs, but like
Okay.
higher like high end drugs, like drugs that you need money for, like expensive habits.
Mhm.
The kids in my neighborhood, like, it started off with like occasionally they'd like, have a J or something, but like now they do like coca parties. They can buy as much as they want. It doesn't make a difference. Their parents pay for it. So that's kind of like that. But like most of the kids now drink because it's like it's
affordable.
It's not that it's affordable. It's just that they're like, getting caught underage drinking isn't, the repercussions for that aren't nearly as bad as they are for drug use.
Yeah.
But in like Regent Park and St. Jamestown,
Mhm.
it's like you sesh before you do anything.
Yeah.
That's like the first thing you do when you meet up with people. You sesh, you chill. But like what sort of drug use? I don't know. It kind of varies, I'd say. But like to be honest, it's more like it's like the drugs that they're using are a lot more chill. Like occasionally you do Molly, but there isn't too much of that.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like Molly, occasionally shrooms. You don't really get acid too much.
Mhm.
And dope.
Thank you, Rose.